Copa America 2024 is just around the corner, and along with the European Championships and the Olympics, the world is set for a red-hot summer of football. And now that the Euros is kicked off and the teams have played their first matches, it's time to turn our attention to the other major tournament, the Copa America, as we take a look at the standout players from each team. Let's start. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Group by group, we begin with defending champions Argentina. And we won't surprise anyone by saying that Argentina's best player is still Lionel Messi. A year or so ago, he was heavily linked with a return to Barcelona after his contract with PSG expired. But in the end, he opted to join David Beckham's club Inter Miami. And while it's normal for the level of play in the MLS to be lower than in Europe, Messi won a trophy almost effortlessly just 3 months after his move, the League's Cup, where he didn't concede a single loss and scored 10 in total. Looking at his overall stats for Inter Miami, Messi scored 41 goals in 29 games, which is a good warm-up for the Copa America. On the plus side for Messi, he'll be playing on familiar territory in the USA, where the 48th edition of the Copa America will be held. What's more, if he reaches the final, Messi will be playing in his city of residence, Miami, as the game will be played at the iconic Hard Rock Stadium. In their first match, Messi and Argentina meet Canada. And while many of you will be expecting Alphonso Davies to continue to be the star of the show for Canada, that won't be the case after his poor season. Yes, he's still a wonderful player and has been linked with a move to Real Madrid, but in the second half of the season, he was a shadow of his former self. This was evidenced by the fact that Davies started one of Bayern Munich's 6 Champions League knockout games and was constantly rotated with Rafael Guerreiro and Noussair Mazraoui. On the other hand, Lille striker Jonathan David was once again the real deal. After 30 goal contributions in 2022-23, this season David even improved his performance, scoring 26 goals and assisting 7 more in all competitions for Lille. Aside from that, Canadian football is developing at a rapid pace, and we predict that they could be one of the surprises of the tournament, especially given their desire to make a positive impact ahead of their home World Cup in 2026. Next up, we have Chile. Their strong generation with Sanchez, Vidal, Gary Medel and Charles Aranguiz, which won 2 consecutive Copa Americas in 2015 and 2016, is now far in the past, with only Alexis and goalkeeper Claudio Bravo still part of their squad. And it is perhaps the former Arsenal and Barcelona man who can be identified as the standout player for Chile, who will be relying heavily on him as a driving force in the tournament. Although he is now 35, Sanchez still has inspirational qualities and will be relying heavily on his experience in this edition of the Copa America. He hasn't been that decisive in recent years since moving to Inter, apart from perhaps his 1-year loan spell at Marseille, where he scored 18 goals in 2022-23. And to conclude Group A, let's take a look at Peru. Peru is certainly one of the underdogs going into the tournament, and their best player is probably Cagliari striker Gianluca Lapadula. He's relatively inexperienced for the national team, having only made his debut in 2020. Interestingly, his first game for Peru was against their first opponents at the 2024 Copa America, Chile. He's best known to fans as a Serie A player, having played for Milan, Lech, Benevento and from 2022, Cagliari. At this Copa America, he'll be the main replacement for retired Peruvian legend Jefferson Farfan, who, along with Jose Guerreiro, was a major threat to opposing teams for many years. Unlike Peru, however, Ecuador have some pretty solid talent in their ranks. The names that stand out the most are Piero Hincapié, Enner Valencia, Angel Mena, and of course, Moises Caicedo. It is the Chelsea man who will be Ecuador's most important player this summer. After his record-breaking €100 million move from Brighton last season, Caicedo was expected to take Chelsea by storm and defend his reputation as one of the best defending midfielders in the Premier League. However, he had an underwhelming first campaign at Stamford Bridge, with his form only improving towards the end of the season. It is interesting to note that his only goal for Chelsea came in the final round, where he scored from the halfway line against Bournemouth. Venezuela also have some intriguing players, with the experienced Tomas Rincon and Jose Solomon Rondon still in the squad. However, the biggest star of this Copa America will undoubtedly be Cadiz's Darwin Machis. Yes, the Spanish side were relegated from La Liga this season, but Machis will be playing in the top flight for Real Valladolid well into 2024-25. Explosive, energetic, unconventional. These are the words that best describe Machis. He's also very dangerous with his amazing long-range shots. Definitely a player to watch out for at this Copa America 2024. As for Jamaica, they were rocked by a major scandal just days before the start of the Copa America. Their biggest star, Aston Villa player Leon Bailey, sensationally announced that he had no intention of representing his country at the tournament, preferring to focus on his mental strength and spend time with his family. His decision seriously threatens Jamaica's chances of getting out of the group stage. However, they do have two other Premier League players who are regular starters for their teams. Fulham's Bobby Reid and West Ham's Michael Antonio. Jamaica fans will be hoping that the pair's experience and playing time in the best league in the world will help them progress deep into the competition. Now we have the first real dark horse of the tournament, Mexico. The Mexicans are always full of solid players who play for the best clubs in Europe, but they've never done anything exciting at the big tournaments, World Cups or Copa America. Unfortunately for them, that's unlikely to be the case in 2024, as their squad is in the transitional phase after the Andres Guardado and Hector Herrera era. However, the cornerstone of their new generation is Mexico's newest star, striker Santiago Jimenez. The Feyenoord man has been a sensation in the Dutch top flight, scoring 38 goals in the last 2 seasons alone, including the title-winning campaign of 2022-23. As for his international career, Jimenez made his debut at the age of 20 and has already made 27 appearances for Mexico. Next up, the USA. Not to give head coach Greg Berhalter's side too much credit, but the Americans are as impressive as they've ever been. What we said about Canada applies even more to the Yankees, who have a squad that can easily compete with the likes of Argentina, Brazil, and Uruguay. Besides, just imagine the scenes if the USA were to win a tournament that supposedly belongs to a South American country. Given how well balanced the US squad is, with a solid player in every position on the pitch, it's impossible to single out any one player as the best of the best. However, in keeping with the spirit of the video, we'll say Christian Pulisic. Dubbed the LeBron James of football, Pulisic has reinvented himself since joining Milan from Chelsea last summer, making 26 goal involvements in all competitions for the Rossoneri. He's also the most experienced player in the USA squad, having worn the Yankees jersey for 8 years already. Moving on to another country from North America, Panama have the least chance of making it to the final, judging by the bookmakers. Yes, Panama definitely don't have a household name, but the man who is perhaps best known is Olympique Marseille right back Michael Murillo. He joined the French club last summer and had a very good debut campaign, scoring 5 goals in 25 appearances for Marseille, which is quite good for a fullback. He also has plenty of experience with the Panamanian national team, having made 73 appearances and has already played in a major tournament, the 2018 World Cup. Uruguay, the third biggest favourites for the trophy after Argentina and Brazil. When two of your greatest legends, such as Luis Suarez and Edinson Cavani, retire from the national team at the same time, it's usually hard to call yourself a favourite. However, Marcelo Bielsa's side have made a huge transition from their glory days, when they finished 4th in 2010, to the new generation, led by Ronald Araujo, Fede Valverde and Darwin Núñez. Yes, it would be a great achievement for Uruguay to lift the trophy after failing to do so in the last 5 editions of the Copa America. However, if we had to pick their best player right now, it would be Valverde, who won his second Champions League less than a month ago and has been a key player for Real Madrid for the last 5 years or so. From now on, however, his responsibilities for Madrid will only increase with the retirement of Cruz and the imminent one of Luka Modric. As for Bolivia, well, it's been 62 years since they last won the tournament, and they won't have an easy time of it in 2024, being drawn in a tough group alongside the aforementioned USA, Uruguay and Panama. And given that they only progressed out of the group stage 3 times in the last 40 years, we doubt they'll make it in 2024, especially given that they don't have a single football player who plays at club level in Europe. The player to watch most closely at the Copa America will be Bolivia midfielder Ramiro Vaca. The 24-year-old has been in fine form for the Bolivian club over the past 2 seasons, scoring 15 goals and providing 18 assists since the start of the 2023 calendar year. The final group of the tournament is made up of Colombia, Paraguay, Brazil and Costa Rica. To be honest, Colombia have had a good squad, but it's made up largely of players from the strong generation of the mid-2010s. That means that every single one of them is around or over 30 years old, including James Rodriguez, David Ospina, Davidson Sanchez, Yerry Mina, Juan Quintero and Matias Uribe. The fact that most of the key players are from the Colombian squad that reached the quarterfinals in 2014 could be counterproductive, however, as it's mostly dominated by experienced players rather than young talent. The only significant difference from that side is the presence of Luis Diaz. The Liverpool man has once again shown why he's one of the best wingers in the Premier League this season, having enjoyed his best ever individual campaign for Liverpool. And although Colombia are also amongst the dark horses, their first opponents in the tournament, Paraguay, should not be underestimated. The Paraguayans arrive in the United States with proven players such as the former West Ham man, Fabian Balbuena, Getafe's Omar Alderete and Brighton's Julio Enciso, who has been touted as the next star of the Seagulls, but the player to watch is Newcastle's Miguel Almiron. His 2023-24 season wasn't particularly positive, with Almiron unable to retain his place in the starting lineup following the arrivals of Harvey Barnes and Anthony Gordon. And after his massive impact in Newcastle's 4th place finish in 2022-23, his next campaign was definitely slower. However, he remains one of the Paraguayan side's most capped players with 55 appearances since 2015 and will have a big role at Copa America once again. And for those of you looking forward to Brazil, here they are. As always, they're packed with superstars all over the pitch and will be hoping to take revenge on Argentina for losing the final in 2021. And in the absence of Neymar, Vinicius Jr. will have a major role in this. The Real Madrid star has had a truly remarkable season with the Spanish and European champions, winning the most coveted trophies with Los Blancos. And having played a huge part in Madrid's success, scoring twice in the semi-final against Bayern Munich and once in the final against Borussia Dortmund, Vini is currently the odds-on favourite to win the Ballon d'Or. However, he will need to perform brilliantly in the Copa America and, should he lift the trophy, the Ballon d'Or will surely go his way. The final participant in the 2024 Copa America will be Costa Rica, who will be without their star goalkeeper of a few years ago, Keylor Navas. Indeed, Navas' downfall came out of the blue, having enjoyed a nightmarish spell at PSG following the arrival of Donnarumma in 2021. What's more, the summer of 2024 will mark exactly 10 years since Costa Rica's brilliant performance at the 2014 World Cup, when Navas and his side reached the quarterfinals. Interestingly, only one player remains from that squad, and his name is Joel Campbell. And he was a young Arsenal talent in 2014, but now, 10 years on, he's playing in the Costa Rican League and is still going strong, scoring 13 goals for his club last season as they finished 3rd in the table. If you have some other suggestions for the best players from every Copa America team, let us know in the comments section below. Also, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and check out some of our latest uploads. Now, as always, enjoy the summer of football and catch you in the next one for more entertaining content.